So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county.
What the? You are now in the Black Box. Whoa. With Spider Loc, Most Easty, a.k.a. BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang. Let's go!
Listen. Cheetah. Gratitude is the attitude. Show is a blessing. To be back in the Black Box. Black Box.
Relax, roll up as we randomly react to content in these YouTube streets. Yeah. It's time for R&R.
Neighborhood Nip Hustle. Big shout out to my SPI, Spider Loc. You know I'm in the Black Box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
The constant, consistent, continuous content creation campaign continues. Today, we got another one from Warren Cali to serve up on the menu. As we sell the 7C, we end up on 107th and Hoover discussing the Boys in the Hood movie. Who would have known that this character was actually inspired by a real-life individual? We knew about Debo. We've heard that many times. It's a debate of who it actually was. G-Cat from 111. That's not the name, but a G dude. Can't think of the name off the top from 111. And then we've heard the story about Big U. But now we hear about Fat Cat from 107 Hoover, who Doughboy from Boys in the Hood was based off of. I guess it's no surprise to find that out. That it was because it was such an authentic character. Made me wonder, was O-Dog based on any particular person? We know Lorenz Tate is originally from Chicago. We did a reaction to the whole makeup of his character as well. But I don't think they divulged that that character was based on any particular individual. But this should be an interesting story. With no further ado, let's see what Fat Cat has been up to.
Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I will detail the real story of Boys in the Hood character, Doughboy. 1 out of every 21 black American males will be murdered in their lifetime. Most will die at the hands of another black male. These facts are flashed on the screen at the start of the Boys in the Hood movie. The movie Boys in the Hood was one of the first visual looks describing the aspect of the hood, in a coming-of-age story based upon multiple young boys growing up in the inner city of South Central Los Angeles. John Singleton initially developed the film as a requirement for his application to film school in 1986 at USC. John had to come up with multiple ideas for films, and one of them was called Summer of 1984, which describes several incidents in John's life.
You're in the film program. I got in the film program, and I was one of like 14 African Americans in a program that had like 2,000 students, and since my success, they've admitted more than that. But I mean, when I was there, I mean, dudes used to look at me and be like, oh, well, you should just give it up, because you're black and you'll never make it, and we're gonna make movies and you're gonna make movies, and it's just like, after a while, I was like, I was trying to be cool with people, but I was like, you know what, kill this, So I just stepped to everybody after that, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna make movies. You are not gonna make movies. You have nothing to talk about. I have life. I have a life. What are you gonna talk about? You're gonna talk about growing up in Encino?
John later sold the script to Columbia Pictures upon his film school graduation in 1990. During writing, he drew inspiration from his own life and from the lives of people he knew. He also insisted that he direct the project because he felt like he was the only one who could capture South Central in the right way. The film began production in 1990. With Columbia Pictures behind it, Boys in the Hood emerged as the first all-black movie about the urban life of LA to be backed by a major studio. More important, it was one of the first times a young African-American filmmaker has dealt with issues describing his generation, from family issues, gang turf wars, and also crack addiction. The film Boys in the Hood will go on to star veteran actors like Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett, but many up-and-coming young actors like Morris Chestnut, Cuba Gooding Jr., Nia Long, and also rapper Ice Cube will be in the movie. Ice Cube will go on to play the character Doughboy.
John Singleton, he's a 22-year-old brother. This is his first movie. He just graduated out of USC. He does a movie about South Central Los Angeles. He's from South Central Los Angeles. So the story is very sincere, and it hits home. That's why I did it, and he worked with me a lot, you know. So I haven't seen the final edit of the whole movie, but I've seen clips of, you know, I think it's pretty good.
What's the character that you play?
Character named Doughboy. He's a guy, he comes from a family with just his mother and his brother. And, you know, it's about a guy who went the wrong way. You know, his brothers play sports, and he's like been an adolescent. He's been a juvenile delinquent. And you know, it's all about his life now compared to his brother's life. You know,
it's not a documentary, but it's so close to one. The temptations in a place like Compton is much more than the temptations in Iowa for a kid. I mean, it's this close from a documentary.
Boys in the Hood will go on to leave a major cultural impact in the urban community, being one of the first films describing the inner city life, and it will be a big box office success, grossing $57 million and only with a budget of $5 million, and even getting John Singleton numerous nominations and awards.
There's a new movie that really cuts to the heart of an American crisis. Boys in the Hood. It is an important movie. This movie was written and directed by a young black man who is only 23 years old.
I did the film actually to show how the difference between what a responsible, you know, open-minded black man would do in raising his son. And so I could contrast that to the way, you know, his son's two friends would be raised just by their mother. Mm-hmm. And what we show in this film, you know, there's a mother in the film who raises her two sons, and one she overly loves, and he becomes irresponsible and a teenage father. And the other one she doesn't love enough, and he becomes a gangster. Mm-hmm. And that's Doughboy, that's Cube's character.
Is the story that you told in Boys in the Hood your own story?
Well,
I never knew one of the main focuses was a mother's love, insufficient for one, insufficient for the other. That's deep. Wow.
Well, the story of Boys in the Hood is just a catalyst for me when I went to live with my father. Mm-hmm.
But what many people don't know is, the movie Boys in the Hood is the actual life of John Singleton. Most characters in the movie are true characters in real life. John and even the character Trey are the same person. And Trey's father and mother in the movie are based upon John's actual parents. Growing up, John initially lived with his mother, where she lived in Inglewood, in the Inglewood family Gangsta Bloods territory. At just 11 years old, John went to live with his father. And most things in the film are true, like the guy breaking into their home and his father shooting at the guy, and also the black policeman even saying, "You should have got him," among several other things in the film. And also the character of Doughboy was the actual best friend of John Singleton. The real Doughboy's name was Michael Winters, and he went by the name Fatbacc. Once John moved with his father at the age of 11 years old in 1979, he moved on to 101st in Vermont, which was in the 107 Hoover Crips territory. This was the same area that Fatbacc and several other kids who became John's friends lived on and became from. John and Fatbacc became friends in the 6th grade. They went through everything together, from fights, learning how to skateboard, riding the bus, and starting to take interest in girls, and just overall surviving South Central. John would say that Fatbacc was a talkative kid growing up. He always spoke his mind and never gave a fuck, like the character Doughboy. At the age of 12, Michael gave himself the name Fatbacc, and he was already repping 107 Hoover.
Crazy how the word fatback done took on a whole meaning on social media these days. But he was banging fatback. Before they say, you know, the fatback now, that sound hard, fatback. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
107 Hoovers were founded in the 70s as one of the gangs in the Hoover Alliance, which currently includes gangs like the 5 Deuce, 5-9, 7-4, A-Tray, 9 Deuce, 9-4, and 11 Deuce Hoovers. The Hoovers are one of the most hated and deadly gangs of Los Angeles, so growing up in this area is definitely tough. John stated in an interview he grew up in his early teens around mainly 3 friends, one being Jimmy, another friend named Michael, and Fatbacc. As they got older, John's friends got deeper into the streets, just like the movie reflected, but he locked into school and his studies. The summer of 1984, with all them being 16, is what marked the overall change of everyone. The streets of Los Angeles were full of blood and Crip gangs, gang violence, racism, and drugs. Fatbacc by this time was a full active gang member for the 107 Hoovers, smoking weed, drinking, selling drugs, getting into fights, and all type of violence and situations in his community, and others was the norm. Fatbacc would later state in a 1991 interview, It's a part of growing up around here. Hanging around with the in crowd on gangs turf, violence comes with the territory. As the years grew, John locked into school and later went to college and also started a film career. And Fatbacc locked into the streets. Fatbacc considered moving out the hood, but he felt anchored there. He said in a 1991 interview, "It's my block, it's my street, and my name's written out there in the cement. The gangs are still here, but when you get older, you get out of that stuff. You start thinking about ways to make money and doing something else with your life." Even though both John and Fatbacc took different paths in life, they remained close friends. You can often see both men together all the time. John even had Fatbacc at several movie premieres and also several events he held.
Y'all might not know me, but probably know my character. Ice Cube portrayed my role, my character, the original Doughboy. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm a childhood friend of John Singleton. I mean, I couldn't even ride a skateboard. I used to put my knees on the skateboard and push it. We couldn't even cross the street. John couldn't cross the street. My god brother Kevin Orange, he the one who introduced us. He's like, "Michael, you want to play with him? That's Danny's son." He walked me and my skateboard across the street and held my hand. And we played together and we became best friends. I mean, it's been an adventure ever since then. I mean, growing up with John, growing up in the hood is an adventure. So I'm gonna tell you now, boys in the hood, it's real. It's real.
In 2017,
I gotta give it up. I gained a lot of respect for him, John Singleton, for knowing he's still thugging with his boy like that. Oh, my mama.
Fatbacc would even take part in John Singleton's documentary, LA's Burning. But Fatbacc would unfortunately die to cancer in 2018, leaving a major impact in his community and his life being one of the most memorable characters in movie history. John Singleton would even go on to make a show called
You could see the weight he lost. He was fighting with it. Damn, rest in peace.
Snowfall, and even made a character in the show named Fatbacc, perhaps in the honor of the original Fatbacc. And the character in the show was known for being honorable, respected, and loyal, with the original Fatbacc being said to have the same qualities. Unfortunately, a year after Fatback's death in 2018, John Singleton died from a stroke in 2019.
Director John Singleton has died. He was the first black filmmaker ever nominated for a Best Director Oscar for his groundbreaking 1991 classic BOYZ in the Hood. He is also the youngest director ever nominated. Singleton went on to explore themes of race and class in films like Poetic Justice, Shaft, and Baby Boy. He was recently acclaimed for his work on American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. John Singleton suffered a stroke last week. He never recovered.
John Singleton's childhood contributed to a major genre of movies and inspiration to many, and his childhood friends' circumstances show how the outcomes in the inner city can lead kids down the wrong path. Both men from the same area had two different paths in life. Both made it out the streets and lived beyond the hood. R.I.P. to both. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
The culture, California set the trend of who we are today, man, in the South. The Crip started 50 years ago. You fast forward to 2020, man, you got niggas dying and killing down here behind Grape Street, behind Hoover Street, and they ain't never been, and they ain't never going, and they ain't never seen it. But they'll kill you behind it. They die represented. They hurt their mamas for it. They abandon their children to represent. You see what I'm saying? So Confucius once said, "He who controls images controls minds." Y'all gave us these images.
Them G's don't play out, la la land is hot. Set up shop, sell them grams and clock. The news link for Los Angeles is la la land. Yeah. Now he say, she say, I'll get you shot. We just sell them things, evade the cops. Your best come deep, cause you can lose your life in la la land.
Royal blue Dodger hat matched with the blue ring. Royal blue Chuck T's with big blue shoestrings. Not the hockey team, no, we the true kings. Infrared carbine, that's how we do things. Most of these niggas smoke la la, man. You can call this law scandalous a la la land.
the home of Tookie, OJ, and O'Shea. Think it's for play out here, nigga, okay. The G is over all, y'all just like to hate. And we know dating's old, but we just like to skate. We stay flossing from Carson to Slauson. The grass is greener from here to Pasadena. It's Southern California, but it's still gon' rain. Big bullets get wet and I feel your pain. We love to set, that's all we got out here. It's so cold in these streets that it's hot out here.
Them G's don't play out, la la land, it's hot. Set up shop, sell them grams and clock. The new slang for Los Angeles is la la land, yeah. Now he say, she say, I'll get you shot. We just sell them things, evade the cops, your best come deep, cause you can lose your life in la la land.
It ain't a game out here, you find misery and pain out here. Homie, we hustling in the summer, sleet or rain out here. California, ride till we die for the skrill. We claim we do it for survival, but it's all for the thrill. Got to get it with it, spit it, hit it through your fitted, split it, bang on them, so they know that the hood did it, no mistaking. West side rider for real, it's like a demon that's inside us, that incite us to kill. Bang, bang, and lay our life down for the gang. I seen a nigga lose his life for trying to fight for his chain. It ain't a game, it's insane, the whole hood dysfunctional. Retaliation seems like the only time we punctual. That's real, cuz we drink and smoke drugs, but it's something about a gangster, cause bitches just love a thug. I think we got the downest hoes on the earth, the baddest bitches in the world, they come from right off the turf. La la land.
Don't play out, la la land, it's hot. Set up shop, sell them grams and clock. The new slang for Los Angeles is la la land, yeah. Now he say, she say, I'll get you shot. We just sell them things, evade the cops, your best come deep, cause you can lose your life in la la land.
Nigga in that puzzle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
I'm here with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch!
My nigga Spider Low. Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county.
What the fuck?
My nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Spider Loke's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Nate Blood, C-Mac. Shout out my Loke, Spider Loke, cuz. Nate Blood on Hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, Crip.
Point blank, do no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood Crip, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
You are now in the Black Box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!